We are back and on blast. Happy to have you. Welcome to the show with our hosts, Syra and Tony. If you guys have not already followed us on YouTube, please look us up, On Blast Podcast. It's super simple. Show a little love, show a little support. Not only that, if you haven't followed us on Instagram and Facebook, you can find us at On Blast Official. Very easy. If you don't follow us, it's no one's fault but your own. Right, Ira?
Oh, absolutely.
And
it's funny. It's funny. That came out like liquid, and like in my mind, I'm sitting here trying to think like, all right, should I do the credits? I don't think I'll be able to handle the credits right now. Like, there's too much going on upstairs to even fucking make the thought.
One of those days. Well, you know, before we get too ahead of ourselves, make sure you guys follow us on TikTok too. That's where we post a lot of the shorter clips. For anyone that doesn't have more than a minute attention span, me and Ira can certainly relate, because to sit around for an hour sometimes is too much for people, and that's not lost on us at On Blast. So if you don't already, follow us on TikTok as well, so you can keep up with some short little clips, if you will. So what's up, Ira? Ira, we haven't seen you in weeks, dude.
Well, I mean, I've been working. You know, Sundays, it got a little crazy up in Staten Island. You know, I'm kind of last man standing.
Last man standing.
So I'm like, you know, I'm rebuilding my store, and that. So you know, I had to make a couple sacrifices and work a lot more than I normally used to, and also work on some days that I don't normally work, which it comes with the territory. Taking over a new location, restaffing, and then just rebranding the whole location. I mean, it's a lot of work. I put a lot of work into my business. I put a lot of work into myself, my staff, my team, and all that. So it's like, I mean, I'm at a good point right now, but it's my hard work is paying off for the last month because I've been fucking balls to the walls.
Well, I don't know you to be anything else, Ira. I wouldn't like you if you weren't off your rocker. and to be so clear, I just wouldn't. It's I think we love you for who you are, and if you're out of your goddamn mind, that's fine. So
I mean, I would like to say that it's a selective crazy, but we all know I'm out of my fucking mind.
We're all out of our minds. I think I feel like people don't really. Before we get too far, happy fucking Mother's Day, man.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to everybody.
What do we have to say to the moms on the horn? What do we have to say to them, Ira?
I mean, look, it doesn't get any better than thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, like the deepest thank you that you could ever give your mother. Because I mean, look, moms, they go through a lot, raising us, bringing us up, teaching us all types of stuff, spanking our ass, giving us life lessons.
I guess depending on what kind of mother you have, yeah, sure, they might be spanking your ass a little bit.
Well, I mean, not today's age, but I grew up in the old school, so wooden paddle was my discipline.
You do have a few years on me, but I was very familiar with the wooden spoon as a younger
man, we had this fucking wooden paddle. It was like a gigantic spoon with fucking holes in it. Holy shit, dude. The holes make it even worse.
Oh, my goodness.
And the crazy shit is I used to get whacked with this thing, right? And I mean, my mother would be wailing on me, and I just sit there and keep on laughing and laughing. And I mean, like,
really?
The more I laughed, the more she got pissed, so she kept on going. And I was like, holy shit, this really hurts.
Ira, I have to stop you, okay? And I know anyone in the crowd has felt this before. A lot of people, speculate about us living in some kind of simulation or whatever the case is. I know you've heard it. Don't look at me crazy. And the last couple of days, we've been doing a lot of things that were like kind of on the same frequency, right?
That is true.
I thought about calling you. You called me, or a text message or something, or we were thinking something. We were totally on the same frequency. We're not around each other like a lot. We used to be. But you brought up mom spanking your ass, and I got to tell you, it is eerily weird.
I can now. Like, I don't know what the hell happened. I got shitty weather over here. I don't know how it is by you.
Yeah, I'm dealing with some connection issues here, and it's just getting all fuzzy on me. So anyway, where I was going was, my mom used to smack my ass, or even my dad. My dad really, he did not fuck around. And I tell you, when I would get an ass whooping, the harder I laughed, the more ass whooping I got, because that person got more pissed off, and I laughed even harder. I was laughing my butt off, dude. I could not believe it. It's so weird that you say that. Like, yeah, you were laughing. Like, dude, I went through the same thing growing up. And the doctor said, oh, it's a nervous laugh. It's a nervous laugh.
Yeah, it wasn't a nervous laugh for me. It was just like, all right, like, cause like she was so pissed. Like my thing was like, I used to love reactions out of people. Like when they're fucking going ballistic.
Yeah.
Like I used to like, and that was the thing. Like it was all for shock value when I was a kid. I didn't realize what I was doing. You know, I mean, as a grown adult now, I know, you know, I was looking for the attention, and basically, you know, just being a little fucking terror and shit, pissing everybody off around me. You know, when they get really fucking pissed, to me, that was like exhilarating and excitement because it's like, it's the next level. You know, so now it's like, here, you have to whoop my ass. Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, I don't know how much was like, I don't know how much of it was so much like exhilarating for me, but it was just like, I don't know. The doctors used to say, and I mean, this probably has something to do with like, you know, so I grew up with an IEP, which meant essentially in the 90s, you were retarded and you needed more help or whatever the case was. And so it's needless to say, I didn't fit in with most people growing up. I was always very introverted. But man, my mom would whoop my ass and I would be crying, laughing my ass off, dude. And like, I don't know what it was. All it did was piss everyone else off more. So it's like, why are you laughing, man? But before we get too far ahead, you know, moms do, I mean, extraordinary work. I mean, it's nothing. It's, you know, and I'm not taking away from, you know, a dad's position in life because it's just as important.
Well, we have our own day. Today's Mother's Day, so we can keep it on that topic.
Yes. Well, I know people like to pick apart the things I say, so I want to make myself abundantly clear.
Then if they're going to try and pick it apart, what about the dads that are moms? The dads that are playing dad and mom.
Well, we could have a whole series on dads playing mom and mom playing dad.
My dad has played dad and mom my whole life.
Yeah, that's a tough act to follow, but you know, I want to say thank you personally from the bottom of my heart. What moms are doing is just extraordinary, and you know, I think every day we should learn to appreciate our parents more and more. No matter what the day. If you need a day to appreciate mom or dad, I don't even know where to begin to sort you out. I
mean, it should be every day. I mean, honestly,
you know?
like, I mean, the thing is, though, is when we're younger, you know, we don't pay attention to the meaning behind a lot of it. You know, as grown adults now, I'm sure, you know, we could really appreciate, you know, what went into our upbringing, what went into, you know, just a lot of the bullshit that we created as teenagers and all that, you know, but at the time when we're younger, you know, we don't think about that shit. You know, we're living in the moment. We're going ahead, doing whatever we want to do, going through hormonal changes, you name it. So, I mean, all that going in, you know, parents understand just because they've been through it. You know, so a lot of times, you know, they might get upset, but they're not going to hold a grudge about it.
Yeah.
You know, and as they know, once we get older, it's going to come full circle because we're going to be in the same position as them. We're going to have to, you know, see life right in its face and just like, holy shit, now I understand mom and dad.
Talk about an aha moment. It's like, oh, I know what mom was talking about now. And let me tell you, I've had a plethora of aha moments because I was a rotten child. That is a severe understatement for the kid I was. And it's so fucked up because when you're a kid, you need to learn these things at a young age. And that's when it's the hardest time to learn these things. Like, you know, you need to show respect and you need to be, you know, well-kempt or whatever it is, whatever the story is. And that's so hard for a kid because kids are just like, you know, they just want to do their thing and just hang out and be a kid. And frankly, you can't take that away from being a kid. It's interesting, but it's Mother's Day, man. You know, and I can't say anything but thank you to all the moms out there.
So did you do anything special for your mom?
Well, we're having a peculiar Mother's Day over here, to say the least. I won't elaborate too much further.
Gotcha.
But, you know, it's just one of the, we're going to do something, just not today. you know, we spent the day doing some other things, but yeah, I mean, nothing crazy. So, Ira, what are we talking about today, man? I know the viewers are just like itching to get to the actual topic.
Well, I mean, I actually got a question for you because you said a little going back, you know, that you wanted to grow a man bun. What was
Yes, how's it
possessing you
working?
well, I mean, so far your hair's growing. I mean, I've never seen you with fucking hair this long. Like, I'm still not used to it.
Never. I haven't seen me with hair this long.
I mean, when we work together, like every 2 weeks, you got a fucking haircut, like on the day.
On the money.
Like,
On the money.
And you would come in fresh as a motherfucker.
Yeah, I'd come in.
So I'm used to the buzz cut, the fade, all that shit.
I'd come into work with my high and tight, like I was the fucking police, man. I was coming in, I was like, I got my hair cut, my meals are on fucking point.
Yeah, actually, now come to think of it, you were always extra the day you got your hair cut.
Always. Oh, I was always very extra on the day because I was feeling myself. Dude, I was feeling myself. I was like, dude, I got a haircut, and I was just like, yo, I'm the man. Like, I'm the man. The day before the haircut, I'm like a mess. I'm like, oh my god, how am I gonna make it? But the day of the haircut, it's like I'm gonna fill up the gas in the car. I'm gonna put together all my meals. I'm gonna get up early. I'm gonna do all these things. You said it perfectly. I was always very extra.
Like I always remember also too when I would come in and punch in. You say anything about my fucking hair, I'm gonna fire you.
Every time. Every time. Every time, because I'd see you come marching in, and I was already riding my high horse. So here comes my competition here, and not even competition. Just
I was like your fucking protege.
Here comes. I was like, here comes my Ira marching in through my doors, and he's gonna say something about my fucking hair. So it was always fun having you around.
I remember the one time, okay, that you went to go get your haircut and your barber wasn't in or whatever the case may be. So you ended up having to fucking leave and you went to work, dude. You were fucking pissed.
Oh yeah, you want to talk about a bad day? I couldn't get my hair cut because my barber wasn't there. No, dude, that took a perfect day because mentally I was like, oh, I have my hair cut already. It was just physically doing it. So I'd get there and they'd be like, oh, the barber's not in. And I'd be like, yes, of course, that's my luck. You know, this is the world attacking me. But back to why I'm growing my hair out. And I know that you'd like to think it has something to do with you. Contrary.
I would like to think so, but at the same time, me knowing you, it has nothing to do with me.
Well, you know, I always think very outside of the box. And, you know, I think this segues into our, you know, what we wanted to talk about today rather well. So when I was going through all my shit in the last year or two, you know, I had to, it was inevitable I had to change. I couldn't stay the man I was. I couldn't do the things I was doing. I couldn't keep on keeping on with my life. I had to change. Like it was vital to my future that I had to change because obviously things weren't working and I knew I had to change, which is what essentially led up to a lot of the events in my life. I made those changes. You know, whether it be a divorce or, you know, leaving a fucking great job, moving into a shed, no less.
It's a beautiful shed though.
It is a beautiful shed. No one can say anything about it. But I was working on Whiteboard Worthy one night, and I was like, how do I, like, one-up myself? You know, I went through all these struggles. I felt like, you know, I just felt like dirty, man. I was just like, I feel like I'm just, like, not me. Like, and I think a lot of people experience that. Like, they start to feel like a fraud with themselves. Like, is this who I am? Like, what am I doing? And, you know, I was just kind of trying to sift through like what was going on in my life, and Ira, you know, it was extremely traumatic for me, those things.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I was suffering, man, and what people don't realize is life is suffering, and the more fucked up part about that is we find solace in that idea if you really think about it. Like if we know we're suffering, we kind of find comfort in knowing, like, are other people suffering with us? And that's really what we want to know. Are we suffering too? But so I don't get too far ahead of myself. I just felt like shit wasn't going. I just had to change. So for Whiteboard Worthy, I said, I'm going to grow my hair out for Whiteboard Worthy, because Whiteboard Worthy was also one of those big things. What am I going to do to kick it up a notch? What am I going to do to take myself, my life, my thoughts, my everything, my image to the world? What am I going to do to take that to another level? And A, Whiteboard Worthy was a great stepping stone, but B, growing my hair out, man. For me, that felt like the rising of the phoenix. Like, if I can grow my hair out, because I really wasn't entirely sure. It was one of those.
It's a commitment. That's a big
yes.
commitment.
Yeah. Oh, and I knew it was a commitment, and I said it to myself. Yeah, I'm going to grow my hair out. And people took me as the biggest joke. They're like, no, you're not. People still ask me, are you going to cut your hair? I'm like, did you not hear me when I said I was going to grow my hair out? Like, did that just completely fall on deaf ears and you just heard what you wanted?
You know, you're giving me a flashback, because I literally went through the same conversations when I started growing my hair back out.
Yeah, people look at you like you're an asshole.
I mean, I started growing mine in prison. You know,
well,
so it was like,
socially,
exactly the best environment to start fucking doing that.
Yeah, I imagine it's rather rough in prison to do it, but for me, it's growing my hair out, small but incremental. Growing my hair out was the rising of the phoenix, man. I wanted to kind of shed, you know, this outer, this exoskeleton of this person I once was, and I want to grow into somebody that I need to be, I want to be. And that's a huge fucking commitment. People don't realize it. Growing your hair out is, yeah, it's whatever. It's going to take a little bit of time, but you do it. But to actually say you're going to do it, okay, because it begins as a thought, and then it becomes, I'm doing it, and then it's done. But to actually follow through with that kind of commitment to yourself, I was like, this is going to be monumental. And, you know, I figured if I could do that, that was going to really help me, like, cleanse my soul. So, yeah, I want to grow the hair out. I'm going to do it. It's a mess, as you can see. I mean, it's rough.
Hair.
It's rough. You know, I look like a homeless guy most of the time, but
well, you're going through the ugly phase.
I'm a handsome man, Ira. Take it back.
Look, the ugly phase is you can't do a damn thing with your fucking hair, but just look like a bum. That's the ugly phase.
Well, that's where I'm at, and I can't tell you enough that I am so happy to be in the ugly phase. I am so happy to be here. I appreciate the ugly phase having me here. But yeah, man, so growing my hair out is it's a serious commitment, and you know, and there's no better explanation than it's the rising of the phoenix, man. It is. We are growing into someone else, and we have to do that every day. You know, especially when we're suffering, you know, through certain things, we have to be able to set up these incremental goals that are within reach, but still challenging, no less. You have to be able to set up these little things that are like milestones. So like my big goal is launch my company, make it a successful company, have the podcast, make the podcast successful. But there's little incremental things that go into that alleviate, okay, that suffering that I was going through. The podcast, is it successful now? Abso-fucking-lutely. Are we the biggest thing on the internet? Hell no. Do you need to be do you have to be the biggest thing on the internet to be successful? No. No. Do I have to have the biggest fucking clothing line or the best clothing line to be to still make an impact in people's lives? Like, that's my goal, you know? So there's a lot of suffering that goes into that, but I think you know, when we can put together those incremental milestones in our life and we start to achieve those, and I say it to Nina all the time, there's something really amazing about seeing a person who's like on their high horse. I love seeing that, dude. I used to see it with you all the time, and that's because we work together. But I used to love that. I used to want to empower, and I still do, but you know, we have different situations now. But to see a person that is on their A game, they feel good, they're accomplishing shit, they feel good about themselves, whatever you know, that may or may not be, you know, for me, it's the podcast, man. For me, it's, you know, Whiteboard Worthy. But I love seeing people, do well. And the downside of that is, statistically, most of society likes to see people that are doing poorly.
Oh yeah, and that's a fucking shame too, because you know, when somebody's doing good, nobody wants to give them credit, but when they're fucking doing something that somebody doesn't agree with, they're quick to fucking jump on a high horse and fucking start giving criticisms and all this shit. But it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You're just sitting here fucking trolling on a fucking social media, judging people, while other people are out there fucking trying to do with themselves. It's like, you know, the crazy fucked up part is that it holds fucking weight.
Yeah.
Somehow this fucking bullshit holds weight.
Yeah.
Because it turns into a fucking wave. And then people fucking jump on the bandwagon and it just becomes a fucking online mob. It's like, what the fuck?
Online is just grown into something I've never thought it would ever do, man. Back when Facebook came out and I made my first profile picture, I was like, oh, online is great. This is cool. Like, I'm cool. I'm in. I'm hip. I'm doing whatever. You know, and that was really cool. And just earlier, I was on TikTok, and this is what fucking kills me. I was on TikTok, and we all go on TikTok. So even the people that say they don't, you know who you are. We know who you are. You go on TikTok.
I live on TikTok.
Oh, yeah. But we all go on TikTok, or we've been on TikTok at some time or another. I seen this girl, and on TikTok, so they obviously, the algorithm shows you things that you favor. You know, so if you favor people running into vans, you're likely going to see a lot of jackasses on there. If you favor inspirational stuff, I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but I'm saying if you favor something, you're going to see more of it. Okay? And so I like, you like what I did there, right, Ira? I still got it, baby. I still got it. Hey.
It would make a fucking awesome TikTok video too, especially if it became a fucking viral.
You know, Ira, I love sharing a good laugh with you. Even if it didn't go viral, it's still fucking funny.
Oh man, I used to fucking blast off on fucking hit them things. They'd shoot me like 5-10 feet across from the van.
But this is what kills me, Ira, with TikTok. I favor a lot of things that like inspire me or they're business related, and there's some stupid little things here and there that I do absolutely love to do, like mindless shit. And I seen this girl on there earlier, and so little words, she was crying, like she was crying, and she was crying hard, and it was like raw, like she was crying. You know, not that. Yeah, it wasn't like fake bullshit. Like, oh, let me make a video of this. She was legitimately upset. She was distraught. She was clearly hurt by something. She didn't elaborate too far in the video, but that is suffering. This person is literally on TikTok crying their eyes out, and she was getting like crucified in the comment section.
Oh man, they're fucking bad.
What in the hell is wrong with people that do that? You know, look, I get it. People aim up in life or people aim low. I get it. There's two different people in life. You know, you got people who want to do well, and there's people that don't. You know, and maybe that's by no fault of their own, but whatever the case is. And this poor girl is getting crucified for crying online. Oh, you're a loser. Why are you crying online? Why are you on TikTok doing this? And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God.
Where's just fucking compassion? Like,
it's just, I don't know where a person's fucking fundamentals go when they're typing this shit. Like, where are you?
There are no fundamentals, dude.
I don't understand that.
And I'm going to be honest. I got to blame the fucking parents. I blame parents now for every fucking thing that's going wrong with the youth. It's the fucking parents' fault. Because you guys just fucking throw your kids in fucking daycare, then throw your kids in school. Don't do nothing on fucking raising them. I can guarantee 90% of our people on our fucking viewers, like that are fucking 35, 40 years old and older, don't fucking know their kids.
Yeah. They
think they do, but they don't.
Yeah, and that's a tough reality because the kid is, I think, you know, they're always trying to live up to what they're, you know, I was reading something earlier. It said, you know, you have two jobs in life. Your first job is the one that your parents want, and then the second one's the one that you want. And like that really fucks with me. I don't know. My parents, like, they never influenced me in that way. Like I never felt like growing up, like they were role models to me because, you know, they showed me love, and, you know, yeah, they had their downsides, but I don't have very bad memories of my parents. And I say that wholeheartedly because, you know, you would think, looking at my upbringing, my parents probably had everything to do with it, which, you know, subconsciously probably, you know, but it's amazing. The parents are, sadly, the parents are to blame, man. They are. I mean, you have these over-the-top dads, and you have these over-compassionate mothers that are, you know, what's that saying? A mother's compassion is what gets a cub eaten, essentially, because the kid grows up, and I seen it, you know, with someone who was very close to me. You know, their parents were this as sweet as pie, and all that did was just paint a false reality of what life was, because their kid grew up to think everything was perfect. Could you imagine what a kid goes through when they realize everything is so fucked up? Could you imagine?
I mean, that's gotta. I mean, honestly, that would be a fucking gigantic head spin.
You grew up your.
Like, I mean, actually, you want to know what? It's actually very similar to an analogy I'm about to make, because, you know, I spent 10+ years in fucking prison, and the world was fucking evolving and changing around me, and you know, I can only see what I see on TV. Sure. I can only hear what, you know, little increments of things that I hear from talking with people on the phone and shit. But it's a whole different thing from experiencing and coming out of prison into what the world is now, and that, like,
very different,
dude. I mean, you were there for the very beginning of it with me, you know, and you've watched, you know, just I know you've seen the big change in me since from when I first got out to now, you know, how I've evolved and with everything. But
you've had to.
You know, I'm looking at everything and I'm just like, holy fuck! Like, how the fuck did shit get like this?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't leave it. Like, when I left the world, it wasn't this fucked up.
It's tough, man, and I think the only thing you can do in that instance is really, you have to play your part, and you have to hope that the part you do play is a positive one, and that is very unpopular to society unless you're doing something stupid, or you're being malicious in some way, or you have all these different other issues. You know, trying to be a productive and positive person in society is a very tough act to follow. It certainly is. If you're not mentally equipped, you know, it's gonna be hard. So, did you catch me? You cut out for a second.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit too. I think we're back.
I think we got hurricanes over here.
Oh, dude, the fucking hailstorm that we had yesterday. Holy shit. I don't know if you got it over there in PA, but it started, like, I'm fucking at work, and it's raining, and then I look out my fucking door and I just see a fucking torrential, like, hurricane rain coming down. Jeez. Then I'm like, because I'm just looking, I'm like, holy fuck, that shit's coming down. I turn my head 2 minutes later and it's a sheet of fucking white. There was hail everywhere. So I go to the door. I'm watching my car just
get annihilated.
That no fucking giant, like, hail ball comes and destroys my car.
It's like, you know, something out of that.
I'm watching people get out of their cars and fucking, like, duck for cover. One girl fell in the fucking puddle trying to run to the fucking curb and shit. I mean, dude, it was entertainment, but at the same time, just holy shit, like, it came out of nowhere. So then I text my dad, and I sent him a video. An hour later, he sends me a video of the fucking hailstorm right in his town.
No shit.
Yeah.
One sec, Ira.
I got here in North Jersey. Yeah.
I gotta put this on real quick, Ira. I'm chilly.
Oh, somebody's.
I also want to showcase my new favorite hoodie, of course, because we're on the podcast.
Stay kind.
Stay kind, man. Stay fucking kind.
Is that a Whiteboard Worthy shirt?
This is a Tony Worthy shirt. This is for Tony. Because as much as I love Whiteboard Worthy is about doing things for yourself. So that can't be lost on people. Because as much as I want Whiteboard Worthy to be for everyone, it's about doing shit for you. And Tony seen this at Marshall's and was like, I want it. I'm getting it. So I got it.
I love Marshall's.
Don't you?
I love Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Burlington. I love all those places.
Oh man, and let me tell you, I don't buy clothes often, but when I walk in there, I'm like a Kardashian. I'm like, I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this. I'm like, yeah, I walk up to the counter, they're like $300. I'm like, whoa, what's your return policy? I'm gonna die from that number. I was at a stroke at the register. I was like, oh man. You're like looking at your bank statement and you're like, do I have enough money for this?
Yeah, I definitely went a little overboard.
Yeah. But so yeah, stay kind, man. And you know, I think people can preach it, but I would love to see more people actually do it. That would.
I mean, kindness is free. You know,
It's
and that's something
free.
that I feel is completely lost on most people these days, because they spend more effort trying to be mean or put up this front that they're strong individuals.
Do you know why that? Do you know why that is?
I mean, it's a variable answer, because there's no one specific answer, because everybody's
I think there
doing
is.
their way for a certain particular reason.
Usually, I would agree with you on that, but I did read a clinical study actually, which
Okay.
means I'm now a genius, by the way, because I read this clinical study, so
Okay.
I know what I'm talking about. But for what I retained in that study that I read, which was extremely in depth and way over my head, I couldn't even tell you what the hell half of it meant. But vulnerability, which is, you know, is traced back to almost everything, which is why people probably can't be kind, man. People are not open to making themselves vulnerable. A, and B is just some form of social conformity. You want to conform to society, and if you're with your dumbass friends that know nothing other than being dumbass friends and assholes, how the hell are you gonna? You know, it takes a strong man to say, you know what, guys, I'm done being an asshole. We got to start being a little bit more compassionate to each other, right?
I mean, I started doing that in my last 2 years of prison. You know, I actually started being kind to people in prison, like
How
preparing
much did
myself
things
to come out here.
change? How much did
Dude,
things change?
Like, I'm going to tell you right now, everything fucking changed, because, you know, the reputation and persona that I had for many years when I was in prison was this vicious motherfucker. Like this white boy will fuck you up real quick.
Yeah.
You know, and that was you know, that was the image I projected for many, many years. You know, and
Okay.
when I was, you know, transitioning out into the world, you know, and I'm working on myself, one thing that I definitely noticed is that, you know, I have to brush up on my manners. And I also have to acclimate myself to not be a fucking savage and jump on everybody when they look at me funny. You know, because one, it'll land me back up in fucking prison, and two, it'll cause issues for situations. You know, and once I started being polite to people, they thought I was fucking soft.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they really thought I was soft.
That's what I
I'll
mean
be honest,
by.
and I'll give a little war story. You know, I had this one dude. He came on the tier. He saw me being polite, and he just thought I was this soft ass fucking dude. Decided to try to take a phone out of my hand, and I grabbed it right back out of him. He goes and grabs me by the throat. I get him in a fucking arm bar, put him on the ground, broke his fucking arm in 2 places.
Ira,
And
you're a trained killer.
I'm just standing over him, looking at him like, and I spit all over him. And I say, "How do you feel now, you fucking dumb motherfucker?"
Oh my goodness.
And the cop's just looking at me like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "Come get your boy."
Ira,
if not, I'm gonna fucking throw him off the balcony.
Ira, if you spit on me, you may have to break my other fucking arm, because I'm gonna whoop that ass if I get up.
You know, I mean, I wasn't happy doing that, but at the same time, it's like, don't get me fucked up. Don't put your hands on me.
Yeah.
You know, but like the thing is, though, is like the perception that just being kind, people take it the wrong fucking way, and they look at it as, yeah, like a vulnerability, but they also look at it as, you know, that you're weak. But it takes a strong individual to be fucking kind. It takes somebody that's centered and somebody that is collected to be kind, because it's so fucking easy to be fucking nasty and rude to somebody.
I think it takes more energy to be nasty and rude, frankly.
Well, that actually, yeah, you want to know what? You're 100%
like,
right.
you have to go out of your fucking way to be an asshole to people. Seriously, if you just like smile at people and you're just like whatever, I think that's seamless. You know, to be you know, like to play the martyr, like that just it takes so much energy. Who the hell wants to live that life? I just can't imagine doing it. So you made yourself vulnerable in prison because you were like, okay, Ira's got to change. Ira has to go back into the world. That's what's important. That's my goal. You made yourself vulnerable by starting to treat people kindly and politely and well-mannered because you were like, hey, this is what's going to, if I want to stay out of this place, I got to, you know, change my shit up. And the second you did that, people started looking at you like, we got a little test case here. We're going to fuck with him.
And that's and I'm going to be honest, like, that's the way how it goes in prison. Like, it's fucking sad because the thing is, though, is like, it shows you the lack of education. It shows you the lack of, like, just...
People are so out of touch.
Yeah, they're completely out of fucking touch.
People are so out of touch.
I mean, but also the thing is like, you also got to think about where people fucking grew up. If they grew up like savages, they're going to always be savages. You know, if they don't know anything different. And unfortunately, a lot of people that I was surrounded with, you know, they didn't know anything different in the inner cities. All they knew was fucking selling drugs and shooting guns and trying to kill each other. You know, I'm not going to say that's everybody that was in prison that was around me, but, you know, that is the majority. And that's, you know, and there's more to life than that.
Yeah,
there's more to life than that.
I know. I know. It's that's tough because especially if you grow up with that shit, it's like, how do you shake that, man? How do you shake that you know, fucking 20, 40, 50, 70 years of momentum of just being a jerk off? Like, I can't imagine living that life. Like, you know, so it's just, and you know, that was prison, so which is a very different atmosphere for a lot of our viewers, Ira. I would like and hope that a lot of people don't have to experience that at any point in their life. But for someone like Ira, and for someone like me, because I did my time away too, I was just a little baby when I did time away.
Well, juvie is fucking worse than prison.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
I'm gonna be honest, it's worse. It's fucking worse.
It's even worse when it's Christmas or Thanksgiving and you're in juvie.
Oh my God.
You know, and people look at you like you're a scumbag, but I'll be honest with you, if I never did my time away and had that time, I would not be here. I would not be here. I would not be who I am. You know, so I am thankful for that time. But for people on the outside that don't have to go to prison or not in prison or will never experience prison in their lives, you know, you're dealing with the same kind of animal outside of prison. If you're at work and everyone sits at the coffee machine talking shit and gossiping, you're in the same position. Frankly, it might be worse. I don't know. It's just, could you imagine following that? Like, and think how hard it is. Like, we spend every day for 10 years gathering at the coffee machine in the morning and we talk shit. And this is just a very generic scenario, to gather and gossip. And could you imagine one day if you said in the morning, I'm going to be kind, I'm going to be nice, I'm going to start treating people with compassion, I'm going to start treating other people with compassion because I want to be treated that way. And could you imagine if you said to a group of your colleagues, like, hey, stop gossiping, like, what's the matter with you guys? What would happen?
Oh, you're getting cast out ASAP.
Oh, they would chew you up, man.
Oh,
they
my
would.
God.
Oh, they'd have a field day with you. You loser, you baby.
Here's the thing. When you're around, they'll get quiet. And when you're gone, they're talking behind your back.
If someone does that, if someone has the courage and the bravery to stand up to a scenario like the one I just laid out before us, if you have that kind of courage, man, you are one of a kind. There's far and few people like you. And you have to know if you do experience something like that and you're up against someone who plays a very malicious lifestyle through gossip or the martyr or anything of that nature, you know, you have to understand you're in a good position because if you stand up for what you believe in, you're a bigger person. It may not be popular and people might not like you and people might gossip about you, but it's never wrong to do the right thing, ever.
And you want to know what? It's funny you say that because that is a term, all right? A lot of people don't understand or even have never heard.
Elaborate for me. Why?
Well, I mean,
I feel like everyone should know that. It's never wrong to do the right thing.
I feel like they should know it too. But the thing is, though, is their fucking actions show that they don't.
Again, it's very hard.
People showing that they don't, you know, and just I mean, have some conversations with people, like, and I mean, some really ignorant people. That's
Yeah.
just, it's like, what the fuck?
It's a look. It's a drag,
It's a
man.
completely lost concept.
Yeah, it's lost because it's just, you know,
It
so
was
many
never
people.
taught. That's the thing. If it was never taught, how do the fuck you expect them to know?
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I don't think my parents ever sat me down and said, "Hey, you always do." Okay, they probably did, but not that I can recall off the top of my head. You know, so can you be taught it's never wrong to do the right thing? I would hope so. If you don't know, and I hope you can learn that, because you know there's you know, if you go 40 years doing bad shit, maybe one day by just doing the right thing, hopefully it outweighs the fucked up shit you have done. You
I mean,
know?
one thing I can definitely tell you, I mean, all the fucked up shit I did, you know, like, as exhilarating as a lot of it was, you know, in the
Yeah.
moment, none of it was even remotely like
It had no weight.
holds the same type of value as, you know, the accomplishment of doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, I like when I do the right thing and I know I fucking did the right thing, regardless of what anybody fucking says or thinks, and I know it was the right thing, you know, I feel accomplished. You
As
know,
you
and I feel
should.
proud of myself for that.
As you should, dude. But too many people doubt themselves. Too many people, and I'm one of them. I know for a fact I did the right thing. You know, I know for a fact in my heart, in my head, I did the right thing. I'll still say, like, was that right? Did I do, you know, was that okay? Was that just? You know, and it's hard, man, because it's easy for people to point the finger at other people because we only know little bits and pieces about people, even the people we know the best. But guess who we know everything about? Ourselves. We know every little thing we've ever done, the bad, the good. You know, it's a real drag, man, to live that life. And it's if you just ignore it, you know, a lot of people think it just goes away and you can just, you know, whatever, vanishes like a fucking into thin air. But you know, it's just it's tough, and going through any kind of suffering or anything like any of the things we just laid out, man, is you know, you have to be conscious of what's going on. You really do.
There's always a bright side to suffering. Like, yeah, there may at the moment when we're suffering, you know, we can't see the light
But
because
that's
we're
when it's
focused on the
most
suffering.
important. That's when it's most important, man.
Exactly.
That's when it is so important, whether you're going through a relationship breakup, or, and I know because I went through a divorce, or you lost your job or something. Like, I remember people used to get mad at me. You just got fired. I got fired from a job back in, you know, after high school. And people were like, you just got fired. How are you freaking out? And I'm just like, what am I going to freak out about? Like, it happened. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just going to try to, you know, do a little better, you know, and not suffer as much, you know, try to lighten that load, or soften the blow at least, because life is suffering. We're all suffering. And I remember reading in the book Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, he went and found a monk, and he talked to this monk in the desert for hours and hours and hours. If you haven't read that book and you are a reader, pick up Green Lights, great book. And you know, at the end, I'm sure I've said this to you before, maybe not, but at the end of his walk with this monk, you know, the monk just like looked at him and said, like, me too. Obviously indicating like the monk is suffering too. And that made Matthew McConaughey feel good knowing he's not alone. You know? So it wasn't even a matter of what the monk's response was. It was really just, hey, Ira, I have all these problems. And at the end, you look at me and you say, you know what, dude, me too. You know?
Dude, it's relieving to know that somebody understands.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, it really is, because when you feel like you're fucking alone in the world, dude, or you feel like you're going through some shit that, you know, you feel that nobody fucking gets or understands, and, you know, you come across somebody and they get it, and like they put it in a way where you know that they get it, dude, that's relieving.
Yeah. No,
Like,
I agree.
it's definitely relieving. I mean, I've experienced that a number of times myself, you know, and as much as I like to, you know, feel that I'm unique.
You are.
Well, in my own way, yeah.
No,
But
no, 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 no. Don't pull that bullshit on me. You are unique, Ira, okay? Whether you like to think it or
I
not,
had the same real problems as so many other people, dude.
absolutely. People, there's people with far worse problems, you
I
know?
agree. And
And
that's and you want to know what? And that's a good bright side that I look on a lot of this dark shit that goes on with me sometimes.
yeah,
Is I look at it and I say to myself some days when I'm really in a fucking fucked
mood.
up headspace, it could always be worse. And thing is I know worse. And I constantly have to remind myself, you know, you came from worse. This is fucking 10 steps up. What are you fucking like mad about? What are you upset about? Because you're not getting your fucking way, because things aren't going the fucking way you hoped it would. Like, that's fucking life. Get
I don't
over it
mean
and fucking rebuild.
I don't mean to smile at you, but that's why I think a big reason we do so well with the podcast and talking, because we've been through it, man. Every day we might get up here and smile and talk and bullshit and get off and come back next week and do our next show. But Ira, you deal with some mental games. I deal with the same head games, man. I have a sickness with doubting myself. A sickness. It's like an addiction to doubting my everything. Because I seek perfection. I want to be perfect. So I'm constantly analyzing, constantly. The minute I get up to the minute I go to sleep, there is no downtime for this brain. But it's odd that we find comfort in knowing other people are suffering, but it's also
I don't
not,
feel it's comfort in knowing they're suffering. It's comfort in knowing they understand. There's a big
well,
difference between those two.
yeah, that's where I was going. You took the words right out of my mouth. There is
But
a
we're like the
significant
same
difference.
wavelength.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, there's something going on lately with us. We're just literally, you took the words out of my mouth verbatim. So, well, now I feel mind fucked. I feel like you just went into my head while I was talking.
That's an interesting mental projection you just created.
Well, not literally, Ira. Not literally. Like, we won't go there. We won't go there.
Yes, sorry.
We won't go there. But anyway. All right, Blast Podcast. Back to you guys. Well, me and Ira have our inside innuendos because
Do you have any comments popping up?
I do, but I can't see them, man. My eyes are shot.
I can't see them either, dude.
Yeah, my eyes are shot. Hopefully when we get rich and famous through the podcast and we can impact the world in a positive way, I can buy myself some glasses so I can start to see things.
Well, we need to get a platform where we can fucking broadcast our fucking commenters, like video, like on a video. Like,
yeah.
Oh, you're commenting, put you on video. Now let's interview you.
Oh, maybe
fucking awesome, dude.
Well, you can do that, Ira. We can bring guests onto our videos. Oh yeah. I'm not saying we should. Saying we can. So
look, if one time we have 5 individual frames and you see ferrets standing there, you know what's going on.
It's hard to be a good person with people like you. You make it so goddamn difficult. And I think we can all relate to that. We feel like other people make our lives difficult. And I hate to break it to you, that could be somewhat true, but for the most part, I think we make our own lives hell. We create this hell in our heads over things that I know they're important to us. I know they are. But we need to do a better job at, seriously learning to care for ourselves, man. I say it all the time. And I know people think it's corny. And I like when people ask me, in conversation, it's like, oh, what do you do for a living? And I tell them, Whiteboard Worthy. And they're like, oh, what's that? And I hate to say it, but they don't actually care. They're just asking out of, they want to know, are they better than me on this, totem pole? Let's see what he's...
when you break it down like that, it's fucking crazy, right? Because the reality is how true that is.
You have to be careful with who you share good news with and who you share bad news with.
Yeah.
Because people are always motivated by something. And it's true. So people ask me, what's Whiteboard Worthy about? And I always give them the same answer. I say to myself, look, I don't care if they actually care or they're comparing themselves to me. Whiteboard Worthy is about community, man. It's about deeper connections in life. It's about caring for ourselves on a deeper level. In the times that it's the hardest, you know, it's about family. It's about fucking learning, dude. Lately I keep coming back to this thing of like, do everything that scares the shit out of you. Like, just do everything that is like in a good way. Scares the shit out of me. So this weekend I went to Pittsburgh. I had a meeting with 2 7-figure CEOs for clothing brands.
I was waiting to hear about this.
Oh, I wasn't sure I wanted to bring it up because I try not to share too much information with everybody, but I had a huge meeting and I didn't really tell too many people about it or share too much information about it. But it was a huge meeting and I did it because I was scared shitless. I was like, these guys are, they're up there, man. We're talking 7-figure guys. And they're knowledgeable, they're fucking informative, they are mentally in the game. I had my work cut out. I was like, how am I gonna get on this, it was a Zoom meeting. How am I gonna get on this Zoom meeting with these guys and like hold my own? That was like my biggest question. Like, I know my business. I know what Whiteboard Worthy is, what we will be in 10 years. I know how much it means to me. I know how much it means to the people involved. But I went for that meeting, man, and I was scared shitless. And I want to do everything that makes me feel exactly like that. I want to do things that are going to challenge me on such a crazy level, not set myself up for disaster, but challenge me to the point of, whoa, this is going to make you grow. You're like,
going back to one of the first things you taught me when we first started working at GNC. Get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
Get uncomfortable to get it's so true, man. It's so true. And I used to say it to you and Ira, we were selling fucking vitamins, dude. We were selling vitamins and I was spitting this high level fucking perspective to get you to sell more vitamins.
And how'd that work out for you?
It worked out great, but I knew being uncomfortable, I knew the value of it, man. And you were fresh out of prison. You were a blank canvas. I said, I am not just teaching Ira on a professional level what life is about. I feel like I have a lot to do with what's happening as a foundation for him. I have to give him some good tools. Whether he takes them or not is not my problem. I'm going to give them to him because I want him to succeed. I want him to do better, be better.
And the crazy part is I was 36 and you were 23.
You're never too young to teach. You're never too old to learn, Ira.
Exactly. Well, no, that's why I brought that up that way.
Yeah,
because the thing is though is like, because so many people have this fucking mentality where if they're older than their boss, they can't learn anything from them.
Oh, that is so juvenile.
Falsity I've ever heard.
It's so juvenile. It's what a boring ass misconception. That is so wrong. And dude, I didn't even think about age. I seen someone that deserved the chance. They were willing to rise to the occasion. They were willing to do anything to be better. And I wanted to, I had a hand in that. Yeah, I had a hand in that. Who would do that? Like that is such a humbling thought process. I will work for free to have an opportunity. I would do it. But anyone I know, I know a few people, and I won't say their names because they are, there are a few people out there that would do it because they're good fucking people, but not many people would do it, man. Not many people. And my point is, I had a big hand in that, and I knew that was monumental to not just you, because you were learning, but to me, dude. I used to leave work, and I was like, this guy is the best. Like, he's going to sell everything, A, but B, he's going to learn so much if he just listens. Because I remember I told you, Ira, I said, Ira, you have to listen, okay? We can talk, but there's times we got to listen, and that was just one of those things. And we got quickly past that. And, my point is just, I got so far away from my original point. I'm not sure what my point was. But just again, back to caring for yourself and treating people fairly and with compassion and whiteboard worthy. Oh, back to my meeting. I am nobody compared to the two guys I had a meeting with. I'm nobody. But you do have to realize, and a lot of people I think like that, you're so much more than you realize. That's how you have to think. You are so much more than you realize you are. I mean, what you do in life is like, it's like dropping a rock, dude, into a fucking pond and just watching the ripples. That's your life. Those are your decisions. Every ripple is another act in some way. And that affects everything. You don't even realize it, and you have to. But meeting with those guys was almost traumatic. It scared the hell out of me. But I want to do more shit like that. That's what makes me feel alive, you know?
Okay.
And I want people to do more stuff like that. I want people to step outside their comfort zone, because you may be surprised. Life is really fucking great. You know, you may be surprised. Right, Ira?
You'll definitely be surprised. I got the gallon of water.
Yes, I do. So, Ira, looks like it's about time to wrap it up. Closing thoughts. Anything and everything. What do you got?
Closing thoughts.
Anything. What do you got? A lot of
Hey,
dialogue
look,
today.
the old adage, don't judge a book by its cover. You know, open that book, read a few chapters, get to know it.
Yep.
You know, keep going on and see where the story goes. Because there might be a great conclusion, there might be a shitty conclusion. You'll never know until you get there.
So give things a chance.
Exactly.
I'm gonna I don't know, I'm gonna work from that. Give things a chance, because frankly, I mean, just being uncomfortable with everything in life is your chance at any kind of future. I mean, I cannot stress that enough. Like, I used to have the conversations with you, Ira. Now I'm having it with On Blast, which makes me even happier, because if I can impact somebody, you can impact somebody with the words you have to share. You have to be uncomfortable. I don't say it cliche in any way. You have to be willing to do exactly what you think you can't do, to see if it's actually possible. And mainly, you know, for today's episode, giving yourself a fair chance at life, and caring for yourself and being compassionate and treating people fucking fairly, because we all deserve it. But to say it and do it are very different. You know, having good intentions and being intentional are very different. You have to think outside the box. You have to try. You know, you have to actually give a damn. And you can't teach a person to give a damn. They just either do or they just either don't.
Yeah, they either do or they don't.
Yeah, that's just one of those things that's not taught. So, Ira, for you and for our community, I hope you guys liked the dialogue today. You know, this was a big episode. Ira's first week back. He's a little scatterbrained. I'm a little scatterbrained, because I'm always scatterbrained. Yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't already, make sure you follow us again on Instagram and Facebook. We really appreciate it. It's important that our reach gets bigger and bigger, because we want to impact people positively. Right, Ira?
I mean, and not just impacting, you know what I mean? Just become a daily part of people's lives, you know, because it's like, the more we interact with, you know, the On Blast community, you know, we want the same equal interaction coming back from you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we want to be just as involved with you as you would be involved with us.
Yeah, I love nothing more than hearing from our community. That's always, whether it's good or bad, I love to hear it. I know Ira does, so make sure you guys reach out to me or Ira and share your thoughts. There's nothing wrong with that. Even if you guys think we suck, like, if there's something we can do better, we are two guys that are more than receptive to, hey, here's some constructive criticism. I'm open to that. I'm a grown man. There's not very much you can say to me that would hurt my feelings.
Oh, same here. Same here.
I think we'd live in a better world if we could all live by that thought process, right, Ira?
Oh, absolutely.
So It's been a great show, guys. Ira, I loved catching up with you. I could have talked to you for another 4 hours, honestly, but
Yeah, definitely. We could.
it's Mother's Day, so we got to go enjoy some time with the mamas in our life. And that's the same for our viewers. I hope you guys had a great Mother's Day. You know, and we'll be back here next week, 6 o'clock, right, Ira?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. I'm Blast.